Welcome to Mrs. Moneybags Live. This episode is sponsored by quickequity.ca. Quick Equity, getting you to your money fast. Nicole Williams, Agent Level 2, and Team Quick Equity are powered by Canadian Tailored Mortgage Solutions, license number 13228. Nicole and Team quickequity.ca provide customized mortgage solutions to their clients all over Canada. I am your host, Nicole Williams, aka Mrs. Moneybags. We go live Monday to Friday at 11 a.m., keeping you posted on the latest financial developments, market trends, and economic news, helping our viewers make informed decisions about their money. Reminder to do your own research, and our content is intended to be used for informational purposes only. It is very important to do your own analysis when making any investments and seeking independent financial advice when necessary. Let's get into it. So today's mortgage industry headlines. So, today we're gonna just go through some of the headlines, discuss what has stood out. Nothing too crazy as we're heading into the holiday season. Most lenders are trying to, as you can imagine, close as many deals and as many files as they possibly can so that it is on their 2023 books. So we have seen an uptick in application processing and all of that. But again, let's get into the housing news. So here's your summary of mortgage and housing news from across Canada for Friday, December the 22nd, 2023. So here's why prospective first-time buyers should open a first home savings account before December 31st. So I know time is ticking down, but let's get into this article and find out why they're suggesting that first-time home buyers should open what is known as the first home savings account before December 31st. There was a little fanfare earlier this year as financial institutions started making the new first home savings account available to their clients. But now that the product is better understood, it's being hailed by some as the greatest deal in the history of Canadian savings. At least that's according to David Chilton, the best-selling author of The Wealthy Barber, who recently published an emergency social media video on the new savings account, saying young adults struggling to save for their first home need to know about this. The first home savings account, or better known as FHSA, was launched earlier this year by the federal government as a new vehicle to help prospective first-time buyers save for their home purchase. It's unique in that it combines the benefits of a registered retirement savings plan, or better known as an RRSP, and a tax-free savings account, also known as a TFSA. Like an RRSP, your contributions are tax-deductible for the year in which you make them. And like a TFSA, any income, capital gains, and dividends earned in the account are tax-free. As long as you're taking the money out for the purposes of purchasing an eligible home, there are no tax consequences. So this is definitely something that, as a mortgage agent, I discuss with my clients all the time, especially for individuals who are new to the market, just coming into the market, perhaps for parents or grandparents or aunts, uncles, just to let them know that this is something that they should keep on their radar. I know that we're receiving, as well as the interest rate hikes that we have also seen in the last couple of years. Many first-time home buyers have felt as though they have been left at the wayside. This, I am telling you, is a great option for first-time home buyers because it does allow you to, A, get the tax benefit for the year in which, the deposit is made, and B, it also allows for you to, whatever you earn, any capital gains, which you normally would have been taxed in, let's say, within any other plan outside of a TFSA, you are earning those capitals without having to pay any taxes on them. Okay, so any interest, any capital gains, anything that you earn, you do not have to actually add that to your income. So that's an amazing feat. So why should one open the FHSA before the end of the year? So let's get into this part of the article as well. So it allows first-time homebuyers to contribute up to $8,000 per year to a lifetime limit of $40,000. So that's pretty good. So up to 8,000 for the year to a maximum of 40,000 over the lifetime of the plan. Any unused contribution room in a calendar year will be carried over to the following year. So they do allow for the carry forward, which is great. For this reason, many financial advisors are suggesting that people open an FHSA account this year in order to accumulate the additional contribution room. Okay, so this is where the key comes in. So by simply opening the plan, whether you deposit, $5 or $100 or $1,000 or even the $8,000, the benefit of opening it this year before the end of the year, December 31st, is that it allows you to carry forward any unused room. So let's say you don't have $8,000 this year, but you have 500. You deposit the 500 before December 31st. And as of January 2024, not only will you have the ability to deposit 8,000 for the new calendar year, they're allowing you to carry forward the unused contribution from 2023. So that's actually a good benefit. So for those who are undecided about whether they want to purchase a home, it is advised that you open the FHSA to start accumulating the contribution room, even if they still plan to put most of their investments into a TFSA. So nothing wrong. You can open the plan, get the unused contribution room, so that if you decide later on that, yes, you're going to purchase, you have then that room in order to make that lump sum deposit. Okay. So it's actually sounding like it is a great plan. For those saving for a down payment on a home, they may be comparing the FHSA to other investment tools like the TFSA or the Home Buyers Plan. The TFSA is a savings account for Canadians that lets their money grow tax-free. This money can then be taken out at any time and be used in any way. So there's zero restrictions on how it can be used, including as a down payment on a property. While the TFSA doesn't offer the income tax deduction of an FHSA, it does offer more financial flexibility since it doesn't require the money to be put towards the down payment. Another alternative to the FHSA is the Home Buyers Plan, which allows Canadians to take up to $35,000 out of their RRSP to put towards a down payment on a home. This money then has to be used in the following 15 years. It has to be repaid, not reused, because you're going to use it for your down payment, but you must repay it over a 15-year period, starting 2 years after you made the withdrawal. Okay? So, but unlike the Home Buyers Plan, the main benefit of the first home savings account is that it doesn't require any repayments. So you're not required to put any funds back into that plan. Okay, so there are some striking similarities between some of the plans, but there are also a lot of differences. The main biggest difference between the FHSA and the TFSA is the tax benefit that you do get when you deposit into the first home savings account. You do not get that in the TFSA. However, the TFSA does offer greater flexibility in how and what you can use those funds for. Okay, so is the FHSA the answer to affordability challenges? So the whole issue is whether Canadians have enough money to put away. That's essentially what it is. So if you do have additional funds and resources, you do have, let's say, additional cash flow, additional income that you're generating that is not necessarily putting a strain on your day-to-day, and you have the ability to stow away these funds, this is something that we would strongly consider you speaking to your financial advisor, financial planner, just to figure out what of these programs makes the best sense for you. Okay, so who can open the FHSA? Anyone who is at least 18 years of age and not more than 71 years old and is a resident of Canada and a first-time home buyer can take advantage of the first home savings account. And who qualifies as a first-time buyer? For the purposes of opening an FHSA account, you are considered a first-time buyer if you did not at any time in the current calendar year before the account is opened or at any time in the preceding 4 calendar years live in a qualifying home as your principal place of residence. Okay. For the purposes of qualifying and the withdrawal, you are considered a first-time home buyer if you did not at any time in the current calendar year before the withdrawal, except for 30 days immediately before the withdrawal, or any time in the preceding 4 calendar years, live in a qualifying home as a principal place of residence that you owned. So I would say definitely review the rules, because it doesn't necessarily mean that you have never owned. That's what defines you as a first-time home buyer. It's more so as to when was the last time you owned a property. Okay, so definitely look at the rules to ensure that you qualify and that you meet the standards as to what is considered a first-time home buyer according to the FHSA. Okay, and what do you need to open the account? So you would need to provide the financial institution with your social insurance number, your date of birth, and any supporting documents needed to certify you are a qualifying individual. And when must you close the account? So the maximum participation period begins when you open your first FHSA and ends on December 31st of the year in which is the earliest of the following events. So it's either 15th anniversary of opening the plan, you turn 71 years of age, or the year following your first qualifying withdrawal. So that is how you will close out the account. So definitely something, some great news in the for us to go through, because perhaps not everybody is familiar with this plan. Type in the comments below if you are a first-time home buyer. Type in the comments below if you are a first-time home buyer. The second question I'm going to get you to answer is, if you are a first-time home buyer, is the first home savings account something that you would take advantage of? Type that in the comments below. Let us know. And then another question, if you are a first-time home buyer and you are not going to take advantage of the first home savings plan, what is your biggest reason for not participating in the plan? Why would you not want to participate in the plan? Type that in the comments below. Like always, this show is for you. It's for the people. It is for us to really just dive in, figure out how we can become smarter with our money, smarter with our finances, and for us to learn, So let's go through one more headline. Okay, so Toronto is to get $471 million in federal cash as part of a new housing deal. So that sounds interesting. So let's see what this is about. So Toronto will receive, $471 million in federal funding to build new homes. This is according to Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's office announcement as of yesterday, Thursday. The money is coming out of Ottawa's Housing Accelerator Fund and should help Toronto build around 12,000 new units over 3 years. Trudeau said at an announcement in Toronto, in the next decade, it should help facilitate more than 53,000 units. Trudeau said Toronto will make development easier by simplifying zoning requirements and modernizing regulations. He said the city will also expand existing affordable rental programs and build more homes near transit. Toronto is a great city, and if we want to keep it great, we have to make homes more affordable. People who come here need to be able to afford to build a life and a family, Trudeau said. Trudeau and Federal Housing Minister Sean Fraser joined Toronto Mayor Olivia Chow for the announcement. Fraser said too many people in Toronto have long commutes to class or find jobs in areas they can't afford to live in. Along with density near transit, he said this deal will lead to a dramatic increase in density near post-secondary institutions. It's going to allow people to live where the services and economic opportunities are. in the communities that already have infrastructure to support them. Though in an interview with CBC Toronto, Fraser acknowledged it will take time before Thursday's deal makes a tangible impact in the city. It's not lost on me that despite the fact we've got an agreement with the City of Toronto, rent didn't come down overnight, and it's not going to in the next couple of days. Chow welcomed Thursday's announcement. So we understand anybody who lives in the GTA, so that's the Greater Toronto Area. So this platform that we're on, Miss Moneybags Live, it's an international platform. But as you know, we reside within the Greater Toronto Area. So this article speaks heavily to what we know and see, but it's also a microcosmic look at what's happening in the greater parts of the world. You know, housing and affordability have been major concerns, not only for the city that I'm living in, but it's just a concern across the globe. So, you know, understandably, when we see headlines saying that Toronto is to receive, you know, such a big sum of money, $471 million, it definitely gives us some hope. But we know that real estate development, just property development, and as well as immigration, the amount of immigrants that are coming in, them needing housing, places to live, reside. We already heard about the importance of being able to be close or closer to where people work, as well as closer to where they their schooling is. So this is why they are trying to focus in on the city specifically and those particular regions. Definitely understandable. Again, this is yet to be determined what the long-term effects are, because again, this is just an announcement, and the announcement is just the beginning small grain. So over the next couple of years, we will have to monitor this to see how successful this plan has been. But we already know there is something that significantly needs to be done when it comes to housing, from an affordability and from the lack of inventory. So because there is a lack of inventory, anybody who knows economics 101 will tell you that supply and demand go hand in hand. So because the inventory is so low, that is what, you know, helps to push the pricing of housing and the overall cost that individuals are paying towards housing, you know, to what the levels that we have. So it would have been nice to seen some funding for development, but also seen some funding that goes directly into the consumer's hands, you know, to help alleviate some of the strain that they are feeling in the marketplace right now. Because again, this is going to assist futuristically, but it's like, what is happening with us or the consumers or the population in the here and now? But again, definitely positive. So we don't want to we never go from a negative spin. I always try to look at what is the positive play in this. This is letting us know that the federal government does believe in the core of Toronto, this core city of Toronto. It is by all accounts, one of the biggest cities within the world, not only within Canada, but within the world. So it only makes sense that there's an investment and an injection that is given to the city. However, again, I will stand firm in what I'm saying, that we would like to see something that gets injected into the consumers or the population's hands that can have positive effects, let's say, in the here and now. Okay, but that was the second article. So Toronto to get 471 million in federal cash as a part of a new housing deal. Okay, so drop it in the comments below. What do you think about this $471 million? Are you liking that it's going to the city of Toronto? This is not mentioning any other municipality. This is specifically targeting the Toronto area. And as they mentioned, it's because people are finding that they have to live so far from where they work, and also students having to commute so far to get to school. So definitely drop in the comments what your thoughts are on that. So, with all of this, we are coming to our financial tip of the day. So, the tip for that I'm going to leave everyone with as we approach and we're heading into the holiday season is really taking this time to be thankful. Look at all of the financial blessings that came your way this year. I know it's easy for us to talk about, oh my gosh, interest rates have gone through the roof. Oh, the cost of housing has gone up. Oh, affordability has been shrunken. But I know if you are sitting here watching me, there has been some positive in your life. So my tip is to focus on the positive. What are some of the positive things that you did this year, that you've accomplished this year, that you want to take forward with you into 2024? Also, what are some of the habits that you want to leave? So an example, if you know you're somebody that's, an overspender, and perhaps you want to look at different ways of generating income, that might be something that you want to keep with you into 20 or bring with you into 2024. However, if you're somebody who has been frivolous, racked up a lot of debt, maybe doesn't understand their credit, maybe hasn't been as responsible as they can be with their finances, perhaps some of those are the qualities you want to leave in 2023. Again, I always say be as positive as you possibly can, because everything in life is attached to everything. Meaning, if you think positive, positive will come. If you believe in positivity, it will also be generated. And I know it might sound a little hokey to be like, oh, just think about it and it will appear. It's not that. You obviously have to put in the work. You obviously have to be consistent with your efforts, but it all starts with how you think and what you think. Okay, so I definitely want to thank you guys for tuning in. I know we're just getting started, but as we are entering the holiday season, we will be on a bit of a pause, but we will be right back in the new year to be sharing just the daily takes of what's happening in the marketplace, sharing some daily mortgage news, talking about all the exciting things that are happening within our world economy, and just how we as individuals can take advantage of any of those benefits that we may or may not see. Okay. So the Miss Moneybags affirmation of the day is: money flows to me easily and effortlessly. Let's say that 3 times together. Money flows to me easily and effortlessly. Money flows to me easily and effortlessly. Money flows to me easily and effortlessly. I am so thankful that you tuned in with me. And like always, we'll see you tomorrow.